First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me here. I'm honored, and just listening to some of the stories that I was just hearing in the first couple minutes, this could be a great partnership. We could really work together in some ways. So TCNJ, we were talking about. I just was in a function department on that. Girls That Code is an awesome organization. We have one called Girls Code with Girls at our school, and doing some of that. And then some of the stuff we're talking about with jobs, because what I preach around the state is some stuff about jobs, and I hear some stuff in this room that may be different, and I'd like to hear a little bit about that. So this presentation I make around the state, and the one that I'm actually using here, I tried to cut down. I did cut down substantially from an hour and 15-minute presentation. So I am going to try to do this in 15 or 20 minutes if I can. But at the same time, I have a lot of important stuff to study. We are in the middle of a computer science education revolution in New Jersey and across the country, and there's some really good stuff happening right now. We hit a little bit of a road bump today, actually, but we're still hopeful that in January we'll get past that road bump, and I will share some stuff with you. So normally my presentation deals a lot with jobs in the economy. I think with this group I don't have to spend as much, but I will share with you just a couple of slides that I do, and then I'll go into Department of Education, legislation, things like that. So introduction, I'm not going to spend too much time, but I'm involved with lots of things that begin with C. One thing is CSTA. ACM is the parent organization for CSTA. So again, another connection there between those two things. But the reason I am involved with this is I believe that every student should have the opportunity to study computer science, and I believe that computer science can change students' lives. I give this example right here, and this is particular for low-income students. I give this example here that I had a student who was on free and reduced lunches going through school. He was one of my best computer science students. He took out a bunch of loans, put himself through college, and got a job with Microsoft. At 18, he's free and reduced lunch. By the time he's 22, he's making $100,000 a year. So he goes from low income to upper middle income. There is no skill set that I know other than computer science that can take so many kids from low income to upper middle income or middle income in such a short period of time. So that is one of the reasons that around the state, the past 5 years, I've been working on this. So economic opportunities. Again, this is one I'll blow through real quick, but these are slides that I do show. Currently, there's 500,000 open computer science jobs. It is one of the fastest growing sources of education. In New Jersey right now, according to code.org, there are 21,770 open computer science jobs, making $102,000 apiece. Doing a little math, that's $2.2 billion on unused or untapped wages in the state. And so one of the things I say to legislators is it's good for our economy if we could fill those jobs. If we have the best education system, computer science education system, we can fill those jobs, and we can bring other jobs from other places. In every field, again, I don't think I need to say anything to you about that, but the state with the best computer science education increases the chances of attracting those jobs, and that's one of the things we're working on in New Jersey. Example, the Amazon property, whether we get it or not, whether this $7 billion is a good deal, I don't really know. But for every Amazon, there's a company that has 50 job opportunities that is looking for people and looking for places to go. So if we can have that best thing. Fortunately, with the new governor, we're having some success with some discussions with that. So I'll talk about that in a little bit more. So education, a little bit of the not so good news. On a national level, only 40% of the schools in the country offer computer science. We actually don't know the exact statistic in New Jersey. I know the statistics for AP computer science, but not computer science. My guess is that number is about 50% of the schools in New Jersey offer computer science. There are many, many high schools that do not offer any computer science at all.
You want us to hold our questions till the end?
No, but here's the only thing. I will talk as long as you want me to talk, but I want to be courteous to the other people who have to do it. So go ahead and you just pull me whenever you need to pull me. All right, go ahead.
Well, you know, I heard on the radio recently that the number of, for example, women who are majoring in computer science is actually dropping. And no, I don't know if there are any proposed requirements that that New Jersey schools teach any computer science.
We're gonna get into all that in a minute here.
12, and
Yep.
You're gonna get to that?
Yep, I got a bunch of stuff, and I will tell you that I have a whole presentation just on women in computer science, and we have a great organization at my school for that. I don't have too much of that in here, but I'll share a little bit of that.
It's all voluntary, I don't know how far we're gonna get.
Right, we will, I do share a little bit of that. So one of the things we do is we find that low-income schools are much less likely to have computer science, so that's on a national average right there. AP classes or just any computer science, so only about half the schools in the nation, 35% of the low-income schools. This quote right here is really what changed is my driving force for the past couple of years, okay? Chris Stevenson is the one who started Computer Science Teachers Association, the national one. She now works for Google and she's in their education division, but it really is not fair that some students have the opportunity to take computer science and other students don't have that opportunity. And that is the definition of a civil rights issue as far as I'm concerned. We need to give every student the opportunity to take computer science. I'm not saying it's a requirement, although I do believe it should be a requirement. We're not ready for that at this point. But every student should have the opportunity to take computer science. So, some good news. First of all, President Trump announced about a month ago that he was going to put $200 million per year for the next 5 years in computer science education. That is STEM education. It's not quite clear what that is. We're working with code.org to better understand that, and we'll work on it in the future. The tech firms came through and put another $300 million, so that's $1.3 billion over the next 5 years that we're hoping to have in computer science education. We hadn't had that before at a national level. There was a proposal by President Obama, which was actually a larger proposal than this, but it didn't go through Congress. This one doesn't have to go through Congress. This comes right from the Department of Education. Computer science has been the fastest growing AP exam over the last 10 years. And last year, well, actually, I'll talk about that in a little bit more, but last year, we had AP Computer Science Principles, a brand new class, and so we had this huge jump in computer science, but it's been the fastest growing AP exam over the last decade. AP Computer Science Principles was introduced last year, and it was meant to bring diversity into computer science, increase the number of women and minority in computer science. It's equivalent to CS for non-majors. So they deal a lot with the ideas of computers in our society, global impact, and stuff like that. The programming, you have a choice of different programs you do, but most people who do the programming in this use a block-based language for the programming. So it's the thinking of the programming, not necessarily the syntax of the programming. But they're worried about a lot of other things. This is a way to attract people to computer science and get them in the door, and then try to keep them in the door is the idea behind computer science principles. It was the largest launch ever for an AP computer science exam in the first year. 2,500 schools, 45,000 exams. Let me just say that AP Computer Science A, which is the Java one, took nearly 30 years to get to that, and this did it in 1 year. So, and again, I will answer questions along the way.
Do you have any idea of the pass-fail rate of that?
So the pass-fail rate was quite a bell-shaped curve, and more so than Computer Science A is. And so I'm going to say it was with that bell-shaped curve. It was about 60% pass, maybe a little bit more in that range. I have seen the data. I just don't remember it exactly off the top of my head.
You say block, do you mean something like Scratch?
So Scratch can be used. So there are actually 5 or 7 approved curriculum by AP, but you're allowed to do it however you want to. The teacher that teaches it at Princeton High School here, she uses Python, so that's actually is tech-based. But the most common ones are 3 of them. Beauty and Joy Computing out of Berkeley. Dan Garcia teaches that one. That is a block-based language that's built on top of Scratch. App Inventor, which comes out of MIT, so it's mobile CSP. It's called. It's out of a college in Connecticut. I can't think of the name of it.
Trinity.
Trinity
We had a
College.
presentation on that, I think last year or the year before.
Yeah, we did.
And then the third most popular one is not in the order, not in this order, is code.org's block-based languages. So the 3 block-based are the most common. But you can teach in Java. I mean, you can teach in whatever you want. But understand that this programming is only supposed to be 1/7 of it. Time-wise, it's probably more than that. But when it comes to the tests and so forth, it's a lot of reading, a lot of writing, and a lot of discussion is the aspect of it. So, what's interesting about this is it's only the second exam after the art exam to have portfolios. So you do portfolios during the year and hand that in, and it counts as a percentage of your grade, and then you take a part of a test, and it's another percentage of your grade. So, so it's interesting. So this is only the second year that we've had AP Computer Science, last year being the first year kickoff. In New Jersey, we had about 4 schools that did pilot programs, high schools and colleges that did pilot programs. So women in computer science are underrepresented at the high school level, the college level, and the workforce level. But the interesting thing is if they take AP Computer Science in high school, they're 10 times more likely to study computer science in college. So what we can do is if we can get them into that first class, we get them through the door, we can encourage them. And I'm finding I'm having a lot of success with that at Warren Hills this year. I'm at 39% females, and I have a number of females studying. I have females studying computer science at Harvard and Stevens and Penn State and Rutgers and so forth. So we're finding that to be a true statement there. Minorities the same underrepresentation and 7 times more likely to study in college if they can get it in high school. So, and we're also finding that if we can take that a step further and get it in middle school, it's even better, right? Particularly for the females. Females incorrectly believe they are not good at math and sciences at the middle school level, the late elementary school level, and they start taking less math and sciences. They're already behind when they get to high school, and they just can't catch up. So that's part of it.
The pipeline is shit.
Yeah, well, my organization that we run called Girls Coding with Girls, and which is just a local organization, not a big one like Girls Who Code, but my high school girls teach middle school and elementary school girls how to code, and so I have the high school girls being mentors and role models, so it's encouraging them and building that, but it's also encouraging the other girls. So on Monday we have our finale for this session. We have 43 elementary and middle school girls and 14 high school girls teaching them to do that. So we're working at that. If you don't know about NCWIT, again for the females, it's a great organization, NCWIT, National Center for Women in Information and Technology, I believe. They give out an award program for high school students each year. Right now it's run out of Keene. But if you want to get involved with a way to promote the high school girls in computer science, and they now have a middle school program too, they have the NCWIT awards every year. And they also do the Aspirations Award, and they also have the Educator Award there. So we're seeing some success. This is the number of females taking computer science. That's the number of unrepresented students taking computer science. Now notice a big bunch of that is because of the AP Computer Science principles. It's the jump, but we're also seeing the percentages go up. So that's interesting. Yes.
Is there any overlap between those 2 tests?
Is there any overlap other than computational thinking?
I meant like in the people. How many of those people took it?
Oh.
Or is that just something that doesn't really happen?
So it really depends on if the schools offer it. What we're finding is that the highest percentage of this, I'm going to say this and it may not be 100% true, but is schools that have never offered computer science before, and this is the first class. So what I would do is if there was a school that has no computer science, I would go there and suggest this be their first class. This or a pre-class to this, would be their first class. So that's the idea. The 2,500 schools, a lot of those are the first time computer science schools. So absolutely, there's an overlap. One problem I have at my school is that kids are taking my AP Computer Science A and then taking this class, and it's like a step down. It's not very challenging for them, but they're taking another AP class, and it gets good in that way. So, New Jersey statistics, good news and bad news. So, 2015. I think I lost my point. Oh, there it is. 2017. Individual test results aren't out, just the group test results, so I use the 16 results. But if you notice here, we're seeing a nice jump in the number of people taking computer science, so that's pretty cool. The number of schools offering it, we're not seeing as big a jump, which tells me that the schools that offer it are seeing growth, but we don't have more schools offering it. That means a lot of people still don't have that opportunity, and that's one of my concerns. Female students, look at that growth in there, the number of black students are growth and Hispanic students are growth. So that's really, really good information. Until you think about this. There are 350,000 high school students in New Jersey. So that is less than 1% of the high school students in New Jersey taking AP Computer Science A.
Yeah, but here's the thing, just as you said, APCS classes are high school. It's high school. If you don't start earlier, like in middle school, this is the kind of result that you're gonna get.
But this is also saying that there is 190 schools in the state that are actually offering it, which is about 25% of the high schools in New Jersey actually offer an AP Computer Science A. So we're not even offering it in places too. So I agree that's part of it, but you can have a dynamic program at a high school level that that can attract people, but you'll increase the odds if you increase it. And we're going to work on that, and I'll explain to that some of the things that we're working on in that. So here's another one that shocks me. I'm going to use my finger. The 82 black students in the entire state of New Jersey took the AP Computer Science exam. So that's an area that we need to do. Again, when I'm talking about, do all schools offer it? We have schools in low-income areas and inner cities that are not offering it. And we can't find the teachers to teach it, and they can't, they're not putting it in the schools because they're not a requirement. So 23% of the state test takers were females compared to 50% of the population. 2.7% were black students compared to 14% of the population. 9% were Hispanic students compared to 18% of the population.
Are you not talking about like public schools?
So, no.
Oh, that's right, because that's the actual number of test takers, right?
That's the test taker in New Jersey, public and private. Now, the vast majority are going to be public schools, but no, it's not just public schools. Yes.
When you mentioned the small percentage of schools that are offering the AP exam, is that a higher percentage in the urban cities? In Camden, Trenton, I was in Camden.
Those would be lower percentages.
Yes, so I don't think are there any schools in Camden that offer it?
Yes, I do think there are some, but the problem is we actually don't have the statistics right now. I am working with the Department of Education to get those statistics, but it is not actually tracked. One thing I had a conversation with somebody at the Department of Education in the certification department and said, who in New Jersey can teach computer science? And the answer, according to regulations right now, is nobody potentially. So we're not, we have to work on that. We have not caught up to that. However, I will say in the last 6 months, we've had tremendous progress with the Department of Education, and they are fully on board. And we have a vision and an action plan laid out to get us up to speed. I will tell you that if the things happen in the next, actually potentially in the next month, with some legislation, we will be up near the top of the states as far as computer science education. We will not catch up to Arkansas. Arkansas is blowing everybody away right now. But under Governor Hutchinson has done an outstanding job, and he put somebody in, a guy by the name of Anthony Owen in the Department of Education there, who he's given them money, he's given them the freedom, and Arkansas has got a curriculum K through 12, which is very nice. So, yes, sir.
You want to talk about what's going on in the state? Sort of wrap it up, or?
I will try.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
There you go.
Perfect. all right.
Good, perfect.
That's what I'm too soon.
so some of the things that are going on in the state, we have a brand new computer science specialist in the state. Her name is Esther Lewis. She started back in June. The gentleman who I give a lot of credit for this is the Chief Innovation Officer, is Josh Cohen. He has been completely supportive of the things we were trying to do. The standards in the state, standards were first released in 2014. By some measurements, New Jersey was the first state in the nation to have some standards. Those standards are very, very basic, but at least we have some standards. There are not many states that have standards. In fact, there are only, I believe, 11 states right now that have some standards in computer science education. So we're a little bit ahead as far as that. There was a bill that was signed into law in 2016 by the governor to revise those standards. We are currently working with the Engineering Association and to rewrite the 8.2 standards with an integration of engineering design and computational thinking into those two things. So it'll be kind of it's different. No other state has done that, taking the engineering and computational thinking and integrated those two into the problem solving. So we are working with the Department of Education on that. We have a task force. In 2016 also, working with NJDOE, the AP Computer Science can count as a math credit, count as your third math credit. So we're in that place there too. We are still working on the regulations for that. I was just working on that the other day with Josh, but we were the 26th state to make it count as a math or science. So that was big as far as the PR and stuff to make it a rigorous class.
That's amazing that there are states that don't allow that.
So yeah. So yes, we wanted it to be on par with the math and science and not on par with the general elective is basically what we wanted to. So PR-wise. Okay, this is the big one. There are two big ones. And unfortunately today was not a good day for us, but we will have good days in front of us, I believe. Computer science teaching endorsement, I told you we do not have computer science and teaching endorsement. 29 other states have some sort of certification. We do not have one right now in New Jersey. I've worked with a number of different colleges, and we came up with a proposal. We gave that into legislation. They wrote a bill on it. Had to make a number of changes to satisfy some of the other organizations, educational organizations and so forth. But we do have a bill that we are all comfortable with. Basically, it's like an add-on certification for a certified teacher already. It is not for somebody coming in directly from industry. I can have that discussion later, but I will talk about this for right now. That bill passed all committees unanimously. It passed the Senate unanimously, and we are trying to get it voted on in the Assembly. If it is not voted on by the end of this session in January, it is dead, and we start over with a new 2-year process. For whatever reason, through Assemblyman Prieto has not put it on the agenda. We were hoping it would be on today in Computer Science Education Week. I was up at 4 o'clock this morning sending emails to people trying to get on today, and it didn't get on today, to the best of my knowledge. However, I am hearing good things about the potential of it being on in January. That being said, if you can support us in any way, Assemblyman Prieto is the current Speaker of the Assembly. Part of the problem is that he is not going to be the Speaker of the Assembly. He got voted out of the Speaker of the Assembly. He's still going to be in the Assembly, but he's not going to be the Speaker. So we don't know if that has anything to do with it. We really have gotten no feedback. I've got a letter, last night signed by Microsoft, Amazon, Code.org, TechNet, and Project Lead the Way that says, please put this on December 7th. Sent it over to them, everybody gave it to them, and we haven't heard nothing on that front. So unfortunately, that stalled today, but we do have one more chance in the beginning of January, first week in January. So if you want to contact, there is a petition. I have a petition right there. 1,300 people have signed that petition. We have sent that to him. If you want to sign that petition or find out more information about it, that's it. If you want to call his office, but I will update you through that petition if you want to sign it. I'll let you copy it down for a second.
Dennis, maybe something could be sent out to our membership.
I'll include it in the blast, yeah.
Terrific.
Trying here.
Okay.
Okay, and it's real quick, I heard somebody here from ETS also. I work with ETS on a knack with developing the new praxis exam. There will be a praxis exam that will be released probably in September 2018, which will give us the opportunity for people that have computer science degrees and want to get into teaching. So that will be our second thing. That's on the back burner right now. We need to get teachers in the classroom now. We have schools that want to teach computer science and they cannot find teachers. So we're working on that. I will say real quick that somebody talked to, and I just want to mention that real quick. There's a program called Teals. You can ask this lady in the middle here about it at some point. But the Teals program allows professionals to go into schools with teachers and help teachers to teach. So you may want to look into that, and if anybody emails me, I can send you information and put you in contact. Teals wants to grow their program in New Jersey.
What does Teals stand for? Or how's it spelled?
It's spelled TEALS. It is sponsored by Microsoft.
Isn't it, feels a little backwards to me though, because isn't it true that it's only when there's a praxis in place that involves a 15 credit endorsement that schools then step up and hire people who meet those criteria?
Give me one
It's
second.
not the other way around.
My next bill will answer that. So,
Okay.
and except for pressure from community members, you're correct, but other schools don't have
Except for what?
pressure from community members. Like if the community says we want computer science, then they might add it. But when you deal with low-income schools, you may not get that pressure. The
That
next,
almost never happens though.
correct, and the next bill is going to tell you about that. So 27 states have computer science. Actually, I believe there's 29 states right now have computer science. We don't. In 2016, the number of teachers that were prepared for math, the number of teachers that were prepared for computer science, the number of teachers that were prepared for science. Just to give you an idea of how, this is a national statistic, right? 2017. So basically, if you happen to teach computer science, it's because you fell into the job, and that's what happened to me. So there's a second bill, and this is the bill, this is a big bill. Same exact story, I'm not going to repeat the story. It has passed the Senate, it has passed the committee, and Prieto has not put it on the agenda. We were hoping it was on today, but it wasn't. This would require every high school in New Jersey to offer computer science education. Okay, everybody has to offer it, so that helps you. We also had a graduation requirement in there. We took it out, we had too much pushback, and we're not ready for it. It would be that product. Okay?
This would be a big step.
Yes.
This was the.
I need your help between now and January 4th. That's where you guys can help me with that. All right? There's only 4 states that actually have that in the wording. We would be the 5th state. What I'm saying, bam, we're up to the top. And in West Virginia, it's on the books, but they don't even do anything about it. Same thing in Texas. Arkansas and Virginia are the only ones that are really doing anything about it at this point. The governor's race, there's an organization called Governors for CS. Those groups right there have it, and they're making the most progress in a lot of ways. We have a lot of support from Governor Murphy's. I've been in contact with his transition team. Actually, Cory Booker's brother's on the team, and I had a nice conversation with him the other day. They support CS for all. I'm very, very hopeful that we're going to have a lot of support when it comes to that. If these bills pass and we have to resubmit them, I think they will go through faster because they have the governor's support. But so that's where we are with the governor's aspect of it. Professional development, there's an organization called Google CS for HS. We've hosted that before at different places, including one here. We do have a summit, New Jersey Summit. We'd love for you guys to attend this. It was in May of last year. We hope to have it every year up at Rutgers. That is sponsored by Google also. We have an organization by the Martinson Family Foundation through TCNJ, where we are offering lots of computer science training and trying to grow computer science. It is actually called Building CS in New Jersey. And we have and code.org. Through TCNJ, we are actually a national partner. We are the first national partner in New Jersey for code.org. So we do teacher training through that code.org stuff. There are chapters of CSTA in New Jersey. We have 3 chapters. If you want to find out more about those chapters, go to that link right there. If you want to be on their Google group, which is where we share all the information, you can probably find it on there, or you can take a picture of this slide right here. That's the Google group, that's the Twitter account, that's the Facebook account, and then the national CSTA, which is ACM. So will you put that in you'll be able to put that in the thing? Okay, so if anybody wants to do it, that's where we share all of our information. That Google group and those Twitter accounts are the sharing information. Okay? I'm almost done. We have a brand new website that is just coming out called CSNJ. Actually, I think it's .com right now, but we're going to have both of those. It's going to be a repository for everything computer science in New Jersey. It's going to tie everything together. So again, cs4nj.com is the one that's active right now. We will have both of them active, though. We've reserved both of those things. We're working with the Department of Education on that. And I'm done. I think that's 20 minutes.
Can you go back
Make
to
your
the
slides
slide?
available.
Can you go back to the slide with the,
Yeah,
I just
we
want to take
have
a picture. Could you go back 2 slides? Yeah.
Yes, I can email my slides down
Send it
and
to,
do
yeah, or,
that.
yeah,
I have them
or
in
Dennis, to Dennis.
Oh yes, you have them on the flash drive, so they're here on the flash drive already.
Email them to Dennis,
She can just,
and then Dennis can.
Dennis puts it on.
I'll put it in.
Just to say, just contact me anytime. I speak around the state on this thing. I take this PowerPoint, and that's the shortest one I do, but I do different ranges. But we are at a transition period. We are almost done with legislation, and we're into implementation. And the next couple years are going to be exciting for computer science education in K-12 in New Jersey. And that is going to lead to excitement for the economy in New Jersey, the colleges, and so forth else. And you are perfect partners for this. And I just appreciate the opportunity to speak. And I appreciate the opportunity if you have questions and want to email me for any of that, that would be great. So, any other questions before I go? Oh, that's not my computer. I was going to take your. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.